So, next, of course, now we got some news coming out of Cincinnati. Big news. We saw earlier that T. Higgins did request a trade. We knew that they wouldn't be able to retain Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and be able to pay them, which I like because we get to see Joe Burrow without all these amazing weapons, and then also Jamar Chase how well he does, not always seeing single coverage. I want to see Jamar Chase against maybe a shifted coverage towards him, more catered defenses towards secondaries towards what he's capable of doing. Since Jamar Chase has been in the league, he's reaped the benefits of having pretty much a number one on the other side of him, and a good slot guy who had 1,000 yards, Tyler Boyd, where you can't just key on one guy. So eventually see. I really want to see how Jamar Chase evolves as a receiver, much like CeeDee Lamb did this year. I think he took a step in his game when it comes to being that complete receiver. If Jamar Chase can do that in that offense, as well as Joe Burrow, without having that number two receiver, and we don't know who's going to step up, but they may have a number two that can step up as well too. But having two number ones essentially, how well does Joe Burrow perform in this offense? And how well he performs as a quarterback. He's been equipped with everything since he's been in the league. Not only that, they released Joe Mixon. So now your running game, your top one of your top receiver, if not your top receiver, is gone. Now you have to figure out how to really play football. How good is Joe Burrow without everything that's been equipped around him, and we're going to see how good Joe Burrow is. Joe Burrow has reaped the benefits not only in his contract, but his numbers and his offense from playing with exceptional players. Right? Joe Burrow has had Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. These are all 1,000-yard receivers at once in their career, close to when they played together. At the same time, he has a solid running game in Joe Mixon and an offensive-minded coach. Joe Burrow has had everything he's needed to be successful in this league. And I think that now we see some players tapering off. We're going to see how good he really is in the instance this year when he's equipped with less. Because we didn't give Lamar Jackson grace when he had nothing. We expected Lamar Jackson to play like an MVP and everything we nitpicked. But Joe Burrow has had three number one receivers who had 1,000 yards in their career, a solid running game, and a great offensive scheme. And he's performed well, but he hasn't won. And I think that without that, we're going to have to look at him much in a deeper critical light than we have been before, and we've given him a lot of grace. So I talked about Joe Burrow a couple of years ago. You guys slaughtered me. We're going to see. I like Joe Burrow. I think he can do well. I think he has a mind to do well. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens with Joe. As well as them releasing Joe Mixon, who I think is a solid running back. They picked up Zach Moss. I mean, is that replacing Joe Mixon? No. They probably just didn't want to pay Joe Mixon. So Cincinnati kind of cut their losses where they felt they needed to be and wanted to kind of go lean into the season. So